Welcome to this weekend edition of Cape Town News. Today is Saturday, the 22nd of February, 2025, and in case you missed it, here's a recap of the top stories that made headlines in the Western Cape this past week. The Western Cape Education Department, WCED, is addressing ongoing school placement delays for the 2025 academic year. As of December 2024, approximately 3,698 learners in Grade 1 and 8 were still unplaced, with thousands more expected to apply late. WCED spokesperson Bronner Hammond confirmed that officials are working to accommodate every learner, but warned that placements may extend beyond the first term. Schools in high-demand areas, such as Mitchell's Plain, Khayelitsha, and Delft, are experiencing severe overcrowding, making it difficult to allocate spaces. Budget constraints and a higher-than-expected number of applications have worsened the situation. The department has urged parents to apply within the correct timeframe to avoid delays. Despite the challenges, new mobile classrooms and additional teaching posts are being allocated to help ease capacity concerns. Opposition parties have criticized the department's handling of placements, calling for increased funding and urgent intervention to resolve the backlog. Cape Town's openly gay Imam, Moegsien Hendricks, was shot and killed during a wedding ceremony in the Eastern Cape over the weekend. The well-known Islamic leader was a vocal advocate for LGBTQ+ inclusion in Islam and had faced backlash for his progressive views. Authorities are investigating the motive behind the attack, but so far, no suspects have been arrested. Community members have expressed shock and sadness, calling for justice and highlighting the dangers faced by activists promoting inclusivity and human rights. The South African Muslim network, SAMnet, has condemned the killing and called for a thorough police investigation to bring those responsible to justice. The case remains under investigation. Academic activities at the University of Cape Town, UCT, remain in disarray as student protests over fee blocks and accommodation shortages continue for a second consecutive day. Hundreds of students have mobilized across campus, voicing their frustration over what they call an exclusionary system that leaves many unable to continue their studies. The protests stem from UCT's fee block policy, which prevents students with outstanding fees from registering for the academic year. Many affected students claim they have no way of paying off their debts and are now at risk of falling behind in their studies or dropping out altogether. In response, UCT officials have acknowledged the challenges, but insist that financial constraints limit their ability to make immediate changes. A meeting between student leaders and the university's senior management is scheduled for later today in an effort to de-escalate tensions. Meanwhile, disruptions have spread across multiple campuses, with reports of lecture halls being occupied and administrative buildings blocked off. If no resolution is found, students have warned that protests could intensify, raising concerns over whether the academic calendar may be affected. A high-profile fugitive, Yanga Wayithi, has been captured in Steenberg less than 48 hours after his daring escape from Pollsmoor prison. The 34-year-old convict, who was serving time for serious offenses, broke out of the facility on Friday, the 16th of February, triggering a large-scale manhunt. Wayithi reportedly cut through the prison's fencing and managed to flee unnoticed during a scheduled exercise session. His escape came to an end when police received a tip-off from a concerned resident in Steenberg who reported seeing a man matching his description hiding in an abandoned house. Officers moved swiftly, surrounding the location before arresting him without resistance. Authorities have confirmed that additional charges will be brought against Wayithi, while an internal investigation is underway at Pollsmoor prison to determine how security failures allowed him to escape undetected. The Western Cape government is urging National Treasury to present a credible and transparent budget strategy as the country grapples with financial constraints. With South Africa facing a revenue shortfall, rising debt, and increasing pressure on essential services, the Western Cape government is calling for a clear plan to balance fiscal consolidation with critical provincial needs. Premier Alan Winde has emphasized the province's reliance on national budget allocations for education, healthcare, and social services. Our residents cannot afford increased taxation or reduced funding, Winde stated, warning that deep budget cuts could affect key provincial projects. Finance MEC Deidre Bartman reinforced the call for equitable funding, urging Treasury to ensure that economic growth strategies do not come at the cost of provincial service delivery. The Western Cape government is particularly concerned about potential reductions in infrastructure investment, which could slow down job creation and economic expansion in the region. The province has proposed a balanced approach, calling for sustainable fiscal policies that protect vulnerable communities while ensuring long-term financial stability. The national budget speech is scheduled for next week, where further clarity on provincial allocations will be revealed. A 16-year-old boy has lost his eye after being struck in the face by a rubber bullet during a violent land protest in Factreton. The clash erupted when authorities moved in to dismantle structures that were allegedly built illegally on private land. Community members claimed the removals were unjust, arguing that they had occupied the land due to severe housing shortages in the area. Ward Councillor Cheslin Steenberg has criticised the police response, calling for an investigation into excessive force. Law enforcement authorities have stated that officers acted within their mandate, but have confirmed an internal review into the incident. Meanwhile, residents are demanding better housing solutions, saying that the ongoing evictions are worsening living conditions for many displaced families. The injured teenager remains in hospital, while human rights groups are calling for greater oversight on eviction enforcement in Cape Town. The Congress of South African Trade Unions has announced a province-wide strike set to take place on Wednesday, the 26th of February, in response to the Western Cape Education Department's controversial decision to cut over 2,000 teaching posts. The demonstration is scheduled to coincide with Premier Alan Winde's State of the Province address in Beaufort West, amplifying pressure on the provincial government. Cosatu has condemned the move, calling it a reckless and unjustifiable attack on public education. The union argues that the loss of teaching posts will place additional strain on already overcrowded classrooms, diminish the quality of education, and disproportionately impact schools in historically underprivileged communities. Cosatu is urging all workers and parents to join the strike, warning that if the cuts go ahead, thousands of learners across the province will suffer the consequences. In response, Education MEC David Meunier defended the decision, stating that shifting enrollment figures, financial constraints, and resource allocation adjustments necessitated the reconfiguration of teaching staff. According to Meunier, the department is committed to ensuring that education delivery remains effective despite budgetary pressures. However, teacher unions and school governing bodies insist that the government should explore alternative solutions rather than sacrificing jobs. Western Cape Police have arrested 3 men, aged 50 to 52, in Elsie's River after they were caught attempting to sell uncut diamonds illegally. The suspects were taken into custody during a sting operation led by the Provincial Commercial Crimes Unit, in which undercover officers posed as potential buyers. Authorities confirmed that during the operation, police seized 4 uncut diamonds, which were allegedly being sold without proper documentation or certification. The suspects are currently being detained at Elsie's River Police Station and are facing charges of illegal possession of uncut diamonds, fraud, and attempting to trade unregistered gemstones. Police have stated that these arrests are part of a broader crackdown on illicit diamond trade, with law enforcement agencies working to dismantle smuggling networks operating across Cape Town. The suspects are expected to appear in court later this week, where prosecutors will outline the case against them. Investigators believe the arrests could lead to further breakthroughs in identifying larger syndicates involved in the illegal diamond trade. the Western Cape government has announced its plan to use South Africa's hosting of the G20 summit as an opportunity to boost economic growth in the province. With Cape Town set to host the Business 20 meetings, Premier Alan Winde and his administration aim to position the Western Cape as a prime investment destination for global business leaders. According to Winde, the province has a strong economic foundation, particularly in technology, renewable energy and tourism. And the upcoming summit is a crucial opportunity to forge international partnerships that could lead to new business opportunities and job creation. The Western Cape government has already begun engaging with global investors, highlighting the province's stable infrastructure, skilled workforce, and strategic location. However, concerns have been raised by some opposition parties and business groups who argue that while the B20 meetings present a valuable platform, local businesses and emerging entrepreneurs must not be sidelined in favor of multinational corporations. The provincial administration has reassured stakeholders that it remains committed to inclusive economic growth. Firefighters in the Cape Winelands district are battling a relentless wildfire that has been burning for 3 consecutive days. The blaze, which ignited near Wellington, has spread rapidly due to strong winds and dry vegetation, placing farms and residential properties at risk. Emergency response teams have been working around the clock to contain the flames, with assistance from aerial water bombers and ground crews. So far, no injuries or fatalities have been reported, but several farm workers and families in the affected areas have been evacuated as a precaution. According to the Western Cape Disaster Management Centre, the fire remains out of control in some areas, and shifting winds are making containment efforts challenging. Additional firefighting resources have been deployed, with volunteers and local authorities stepping in to provide support and relief aid to displaced residents. Officials have urged hikers, tourists and local farmers to avoid the area until the fire is fully contained. Sunday, the 23rd of February, will be mostly sunny and warm, with morning temperatures at 15 degrees Celsius, rising to a high of 26 degrees in the afternoon. A light south-southeasterly breeze will be present throughout the day, with clear skies expected in the evening. Sunrise is at 6 a.m. and sunset at 7:45 p.m. A mostly pleasant weekend awaits, with only a slight chance of rain on Saturday morning. Thank you for watching Cape Town News. If you enjoyed our update, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a story. We appreciate your support. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe, informed, and connected.